them. Can you all see the presentation fine?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, excellent. So I'm going to first of all go through, hopefully technology will work, and it's working too fast for me right now. But as you can see the presentation there, I'm going to take you through a little bit of a history of my background in yachting, and then get you into the side of the Crew Pacific training and the logistics of everything in yachting that you need to know. If there's any problems with this Zoom, it's because of my controlling. It's not always good, but I'll keep trying to do my best. You will see there in front of you details on booking the courses. Now, I know some of you in the Zoom tonight are summer yachties. We've got Karina that's been in yachting and working with me for quite some time. I believe Nicholas from MX and a few others are here that know me. And then there's you young ones out there and new ones out there that don't know me. I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown of how Crew Pacific started, but also my background in yachting, but also that you can find it easy to book. And then there's actually, I know online at the moment, there's a few of you that are already booked into the course and just getting to meet me and learn a little bit more about the industry. So before anyone asks questions, I prefer to just go through with you on the night with everything, and then there'll be communication and little questions I'll ask you, but at the same time, when we get to sort of the end of the night, I will get you to ask quite a few questions, but you might find as we go through this PowerPoint and the Zoom session that I will answer most of them. So before we kick off going through what a stewardess and deckhand is in Crew Pacific, I'll just give you a rundown. I have 32 years experience, 10 years working on super yachts. I fell upon yachting. I travelled over to London in the age of 21, and from New Zealand across over to London to nanny. And then I actually nannied for 3 months and absolutely hated it, and ended up going back into hospitality. I was a bit of a hospitality snob, so I ended up working in a 5-star intercontinental hotel called the Forum in London. I spent 6 months there, and during that 6 months, there was a London boat show on, Super Yacht Boat Show, and a captain and chief stew, wife and husband couple had gone for an interview on a 90-foot yacht for captain and chief stew role, got the job. In the 5 days that they were staying at the Intercontinental Hotel, they actually, I served them and spent quite a bit of time with them, and they offered me a job as a second stewardess on a 90-foot yacht called La Paradiso. At the time, I didn't even know what a super yacht was. The closest thing I had anything to do with water was Lake Taupo or the Wanganui River in New Zealand and jet boats. So I took the opportunity and accepted the job and flew to the south of France in Cannes. I spent 6 months on that vessel. We cruised all around Turkey and Greece and chartered as well. Great experience. I actually had a weekend off and went sailing with some friends on a sailing yacht and fell in love with sailing and decided to resign from La Paradiso and go on to sailing yachts, which is what I did. I did that for 2 years, and then at the time I was seeing an Englishman, which broke my heart. So I decided to jump on a 65-foot yacht and cross over with 5 South African lads as a stew cook from Turkey across to Antigua. I did a 6-week delivery as stew cook. And then from there, I got into Antigua and joined a 140-foot sailing yacht called Snow Goose. And Snow Goose was run by 9 crew. And I ended up spending 6 months with the vessel as the sole stew on there. And then eventually left that vessel at the end of the season and joined another sailing yacht, 65-foot, as a stew cook, back over to Spain for the mid-season. I eventually got out of sailing yachts and went into motorboats, and I joined a 45-metre yacht called Ramses as a stew deck, and then did that for 6 months. And with the same captain, he actually left that vessel, joined a better vessel called Legend of Tintagel, which I joined him 6 months later and did 2.5 years on the vessel. It was a very high-profile charter vessel. And then from there, I worked my way up. I actually left Legend of Tintagel and got onto a 56-metre fed ship and did a second stew role. The chief stew got fired and I got propped up to chief stew. So I worked with that vessel for quite some time, and then eventually in 1998, I left Destiny Langquani and went across back to this side of the world where my parents had just moved from New Zealand into Norfolk Island. And I went and stayed with them for about 6 months and then went to New Zealand to check out what was happening for the America's Cup in 1999. I actually realised that there wasn't much happening in the industry and it wasn't worth me setting up recruitment and training. So I ended up going back into yachting and joining a 35-metre yacht called Kokomo 2, which was owned by an Australian owner, which owns an entourage of yachts and islands, an island plus private houses around Australia and over in Fiji. I ended up working for Mr. Lang Walker for 18 months, and then he assisted me in helping with setting up Cruise Pacific in 2001. So in 2001, the boat Kokomo 2 came to Cairns for a refit. I eventually started to develop Cruise Pacific. In September 2001, I resigned from Kokomo 2 and I started a business, bought a house and a car within 1 week. So it gives you an idea how things happen pretty quickly there. And from there, I've set up the courses. So for now, I would say Cruise Pacific's been running for 22 years. Within that 22 years, we started with 2 courses. I now run with 6 courses and I recruit crew worldwide. So what I do is educate you all that are starting out in yachting and help kickstart your super yacht career, not just here in Australia, but probably mainly 75% of my yacht positions, whether it be junior stew positions or second stew roles, anything like that, is overseas. So we work with boats from 35 up to 40, 50, up to 100 metres overseas. So what we try and do here in Cruise Pacific is train you to the standard of an international super yacht. And then once you are trained to that standard, we then kick your career off either here in Australia on an international yacht that's cruising this side of the world or an international yacht overseas. If you're not ready to go overseas, we can also put you on an Australian super yacht. So that gives you a bit of an idea of what we do and just how Cruise Pacific has come about. So on the screen, you will see what does Cruise Pacific do. So we train you and place you onto luxury super yachts worldwide. The 6 courses that we offer is a 2-day super yacht induction course, a 5- and 8-day internationally recognised steward and stewardess course, a 5-day internationally recognised deckhand course, and an 8- and 10-day internationally recognised stewardess deck course. The theory and practical training is offered where you can complete the super yacht theory training at home and complete your practical training at Cruise Pacific's training facilities in Cairns. So the positions we offer worldwide, not just when you kickstart your super yacht career, we can help you throughout your whole time that you're in yachting and as you work your way up the ranks. So we place junior stewardesses, junior deckhands, stew nurses, hairdressers and stews, but we also place second stews, chief stews, house managers, and then we also place chefs, deckhands, all the way up to experienced deckhands, bosuns, first mates, up to the captains. We also place couples onto yachts as well. So for some of you that are not sure what a super yacht is, or you've been watching Below Deck and getting familiar with what a super yacht is, it gives you an idea that these super yachts can be a motor yacht as well as a sail yacht. So they're commercially operated and luxury yachts that can either be motor or sail. They can also be private or charter, and they are crewed professionally by yacht crew. So you know that these type of yachts that you'll see on the screen here are and have been in Australia and will be coming back this way now that COVID is relaxing a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is show you a video of a super yacht, and it's 107 meters motor yacht Ulysses. Now I actually do place crew on this vessel, but also the owner has sold recently, a year ago, sold this vessel and has built 132 meter, which will be coming to this side of the world probably in the next couple of years. So I'm going to give you a rundown of what a 107 meter expedition yacht looks like. This is your bridge area for the deckhands. And obviously a very remarkable control station that you see. So this yacht now would be possibly about 5, 6 years old. So a lot of the yachts today will have helicopters aboard. And then you've got your owner's cabin. So you can see the stewardesses, that's the uniforms that you'll be wearing. But also we teach you how to clean the interior of the inside of that vessel. So through our stewardess training course, we'll teach you how to make the beds, set up the guest cabins, help with table service and laundry. So all the little towel folds that you see there is what we teach you in the stewardess training. The finesse side of things. So on these vessels, everything is kept immaculate at all times, even with the guests on board. So we explain to you and display to you what you need to do, how you need to set the cabins up, but also how you keep those cabins looking like that when there are guests on board and when there are no guests on board. We'll teach you how to clean the marble and your table service, how to set your tables up properly for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Also providing Russian service as well as American service. You actually get to do a full practical lunch and the table service as well. So the upkeep that you see here on these boats, it's a full-time job, and what you will be doing very much in detail when there's no guests on board. But when there are guests on board, the maintenance and the cleaning side is still immaculate, but not to the standard if you had no guests on board. A little bit lighter. So as you can see, there's 42 crew on this vessel. Most of these vessels will carry more crew than guests. So if there's any chefs in the house tonight, this is your galley area. So you'll thoroughly enjoy something like this working in this area, and that's also kept to a high standard. So obviously the galley in normal restaurant terms is called the kitchen. In yachting, it's called the galley. Then you've got the wine room, which is the owner's wine cellar, providing a very expensive wines. This is the crew mess area. So this is your area where you eat and be around. This is the desk bar. So there's a gym. So if you've got personal training behind you, any like fitness, this would be handy for you to be able to use your skills on the super yacht as well. So boys with man caves and girls that love the man cave as well. Yes, most of these large vessels will run with motorbikes, cars, toys. And the great thing is they have a landing craft. So you've got tenders. There'll be a variety of different tenders on board. This is the laundry area. So in the stew training, we do take you through laundry or your washing machines, dryers, steam irons, how to iron and wash crew and guest laundry. Very important. The crew lounge, and then you've also got a crew gym. So you'll see the VHF on there. All crew will carry that on these type of vessels as well. Not every yacht does have an elevator, but this one does. So the next one I'm going to show you is a 52-meter vessel, and it's called Latitude. So it's half the size of Ulysses, but it also provides the same amount of service, if not quality, as what any of the other boats would do as well. So this is very much an Italian vessel. You've got the dark wood in the background. Italian timbers. So as you can see, the crew there standing on the back deck with the uniform. That's the type of uniform you will be wearing when you're working on these vessels. Yes, they do have an elevator here on that one as well. But you do need to look after the kids. So you girls and guys that are wanting to work on deck, it's very important that you know how to use the water sports toys on board, but also to be able to keep the kids safe. So a lot of the times too, when the boat's not being used by guests, the crew do get to use the water sports to make sure things are working properly before the guests do come out to use the vessel. And yes, that does happen on board for your crew when these kids are around. So the table set, as you'll see, very elegant. Generally on board for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is a different table setting, a different napkin fold, a different theme, table theme. So it's all done to a very high standing. So yes, you'll be using white gloves to set the table as well. And we'll go through that in the stewardess training as well. So this is where I like people to unmute if they can, because I'm going to actually ask some questions to find out a little bit about you so I can tailor through as I go through the courses. It just helps. So if anyone wants to come back on and unmute and go through some things, I just want to know who has got any engineering background, boat building, photography, is looking at getting into the deck side, fishing, diving, kite surfing, commercial shipping, anything like that. These type of skills can be crossed over to super yachts. So has anyone got any of those? No, they've gone quiet on me.
Dive master and fishing.
Is that you, Ashley?
I know it's Jake.
Oh, it's Jake. Oh, well, that's good that you've got the dive master and everything. Have you worked on yachts before?
Yes.
So you've worked on super yachts or fishing boats or?
Super yachts.
Super yachts. Okay, that's fine. And just is it you, Jake, that's worked on the 83 meter?
Yeah, it was 86 meter. Yeah.
That's right. I thought so. Sorry. Close. Quite close. What about you, Ashley? What's your background?
So I've worked a lot in hotels, coffee shops.
Yeah. Are you looking more to go deck or steward?
As steward.
Steward, yeah, that sounds good. That's fine. Anyone else there that can unmute so we can, the more you, don't be afraid to speak up because it does help me, guys. Okay. Anyone there? Maddie? Okay, if you've gone quiet on me, oh dear. I'll keep going through the actual Zoom, but if any of you've got any of the stewardess sort of massage, anything like that, flight attending, personal training, all of these skills that you see in front of you can be actually crossed over to super yachts. You may not use them on a full day time or full day basis. It'll be mainly used when you've got guests on board. The rest of the time, you will be maintaining the vessel, okay? Let's see that I can go through what, I think we've gone, sorry, just bear with me. I'm having a dyslexic moment. So I just want to go through what a stewardess is, and these are for people that are either wanting to go down the stewarding or stewardess role. And obviously it's someone that's multi-skilled in all facets of service, like housekeeping, laundry, table service, a person that can control and be responsible for attending to the comforts and well-being of the owner and guests while living on board the vessel. A steward or stewardess needs to have a really good first-class attitude and be courteous, enjoy entertaining and serving guests, and display the appropriate protocol. So you need to provide a 5-star plus service and standard at all times, especially when you've got your guests on board. The deckhand role is someone that is responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of the exterior of the vessel. You'll be upkeeping the jet skis, the tenders, and all the water sports equipment. Now, you'll also be carrying out watches on board, whether the boat is actually in dock or anchored out or going to sea. You'll implement maritime flags, navigation, and also taking orders from your first mate. You'll assist with the guest baggage, water toys, shore excursions, and any service requested by the guests when the guests are on board. Present a professional attitude and appearance in all situations and complete your wash downs and any duties that you have to do through the day that are directed by your first mate. Now, if there's girls and guys that want to be combined role, a steward or stewardess deckhand, this is great if you're starting out and you like to work inside or outside, but you're not sure which way you really want to go, if you want to go full-time stew or full-time deck. So you can do the stew deck role, which is a combination of 50% stewarding or stewardessing and 50% deckhand. This is a role that I did for about 3.5 years and thoroughly enjoyed it. And then as I got older, I decided to go more the stewardess route and head it up through the ranks. So now what we're going to do is get into the logistics of the training. So we actually run 6 courses. Crew Pacific conducts 6 courses. The first one that we do is a 2-day induction. Now it's good for chefs, it's good for engineers, this course, or for someone like a year 12 person that's not sure what they want to do before they go and spend all the money on a deck and stewardess training or their STC. The good thing with this 2-day induction, you can either do it face-to-face in Cairns. As you can see, the price is there, or you can learn from home on your own laptop, and it costs less if you purchase the training through, which you'll get in a PDF file from me, but you can do it all from home. And if there's any questions, we can then speak on Zoom or over a Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. Now, the induction course will cover all the facts about the international super yacht industry. We'll go through how to obtain a job on a super yacht, how to format your super yacht CV to the standard of the super yacht industry, how international crewing agents work and crew placement works, how your crew contracts work when you are signing up for a super yacht job. We'll go through offshore bank accounts and your salaries, super yacht salaries in Australian dollars, US and Euro. We'll also go through your B1 and B2 visas, your medicals, your ENG1 medical or an AMSA medical. We'll also go through crew house accommodation around the world, your STC, an AMSA STC or an MCA. And we'll also cover the international super yacht qualifications, how MCA and AMSA works, and what tickets you need to have to increase your employment opportunities both overseas and here in Australia. We'll also go through interviewing questions and how to nail your first interview for a super yacht position. Not just how to answer them, but what questions to ask in an interview. So Crew Pacific obviously offers that to you now. If you decide after doing a 2-day induction course that you want to continue on with a 5, 8 or 10-day stew deck course, what we can do is deduct that amount of money, the $300, and have you come in and do the training with us in Cairns. We'll deduct that off the price of the cost of the other course. So it depends on what you want to do. So the other course that we offer, the second course, is the 5-day stewardess course. And this will incorporate specifics regarding the yachting industry, which is the whole of the 2-day induction I just explained. Professional decorum and social skills. That's living and working with crew on board. Your interior and exterior detailing on a super yacht. So how to clean the guest cabins on and off charter, setting up the cabins, how to make a bed, going through all your cleaning products that you can use on your marble, any of your suede, any of the products, silver cutlery, we go through as well, and how to clean that properly. Just the ins and outs of what happens basically in the interior of the vessel and exterior. We'll go through laundry formalities, washing and ironing crew and guest laundry, as well as going through the stain devils. We'll get you to do some hands-on ironing for guests and crew. We'll go through napkin folding, starching, and different types of napkin folds that you need to do. And then we'll also do table service, Russian and American service. During the table service, we also get you the day before, you'll learn all the ins and outs of the table service. And then the second day, you'll actually go through and do a full 3-course meal. I have a chef come in and cook a 3-course meal, which you'll silver service to 6 guests. So we get you to do a dummy run as if you were serving on the back of a super yacht. So it gets you familiar with what you are asked to do when you are doing table service on a yacht. So the cost of the 5-day stew is $1,695, and the ferry is $1,000. So you'll pay for the practical lessons when you come to do the practical at $695. The next course is our 8-day stewardess training. And this is, the course cost is $2,450. The theory is $145, and practical lesson, once you come to do it, is $1,000. So those first 5 modules is from the 5-day stew. And then the extra modules that you'll do with the 8-day stew is your storing and stowing of a yacht before it goes to sea. So making sure all your dinnerware, cutlery, glassware is stored and stowed away before it unties from the dock. We'll go through basic seamanship terminology, which is your yacht terminology, floral arrangement and care, cocktail making, wine appreciation, and barista training as well. Okay, what's covered in the 8-day stew deck is going to be the 5-day training modules of the 5-day stew, and then we go into your deck training, which is going to be super yacht maintenance, storage and stowage at sea, basic seamanship terminology. So with the super yacht maintenance, we'll take you through wash downs, the products to use when you're cleaning your teak decks. We'll also take you through varnishing and the techniques when you're varnishing capping rails, storage and stowage of sea, of your tenders or your water sports, or your cleaning products. And then with basic seamanship terminology, we'll go through maintenance of your 4-stroke engines. We'll go through rope splicing, different rope ties, chart reading, and just giving you a very good understanding too of your MCA and AMSA tickets and what qualifications you need as you work your way up the ranks. And what's covered in the 5-day deckhand course, if you're going to do that, is the 2-day induction, professional decorum and social skills, your super yacht maintenance, storage and stowage at sea, and basic seamanship terminology. And then we have the 10-day super yacht stew deck course. That's all of the courses built into one. So that's the 2-day induction, the 5-day stew, parts of the 8-day stew, and 3 days of the deck. So that's going to cost $3,350, $2,000 for the theory, and $1,350 for the practical lessons. The 8-day stew deck and the 10-day stew deck is probably our most popular courses at this stage. And the reason being, I think it's because you learn skills as a steward as well as a deckhand, and it opens your job opportunities to apply for stewardess or deckhand roles or the combined steward or stewardess deck role. Okay. So a few of you have probably done your STC W95. If you haven't, this little video I'm going to show is a very much an English video of STC, and it's only because I can find it's the best one I can find. However, I want you to understand that there are two types of endorsed STCs. One is an AMSA endorsed STC and one is an MCA. So which it means if you complete an MCA STC W95, that course is not going to be recognised on Australian flagged commercial vessels. If you've done an MCA STC W95 and it's not going to be recognised on Australian commercial vessels, it can be recognised on private Australian flag vessels. If you do an AMSA STC W95, I can put you on an Australian flag vessel, which is commercial or private, as well as put you on an international yacht having an AMSA endorsed certification. Now, if it sounds confusing to you guys, don't panic. We will have time to ask questions and explain it a little bit more. But I'm just going to show you a video of what the STC W95 involves. And it's your firefighting, occupational health and safety at sea, first aid, as well as piracy training. So I hope you enjoy this little video. So that's just giving you a rundown of the safety training. You can actually do that STC W95 here in Cairns, or you can do the training, and that's an AMSA costing STC in Cairns, or you can also do the costing STC in the Sunshine Coast. We can talk all a bit more about that at the end of it with everyone if you've got questions. These are your worldwide salaries, and just be aware that these salaries are just an estimate, approximately can be that. They can be higher. The salaries can go higher depending on your qualifications and what you hold, not just in super yacht qualifications, but your skills. So depending on the size of the vessel, you can earn between 2.8 and 3.5 US a month, starting out as a junior crew member. Or you can go from 2.8 to 3.2 euro a month, or up to 3,000 Australian a month. Now, when it's overseas vessels, it's tax-free money. Here in Australia, it is taxed with super. Now, when it's overseas, all your toiletries, uniforms, food, travel and medical insurance, training incentives, and sometimes some boats provide 2 flights home a year to crew. And long-standing crew that do 12 months on board will get up to $3,000 to $4,000 in training incentives. So the international yachts do provide more than the Australian, but there are Australian yachts out there that provide good incentives as well. So this is, and you've got to remember too, that when you're on board, you've got no expenses whatsoever. You've also got a chef cooking 3 or 4 times a day for you. So breakfast, lunch and dinner is definitely going to be cooked for you every day, but also you're going to have snacks and everything available. So you are looked after quite well. Not only that, you're going to have international yachts that charter. So your salary and the possibility of earning tips on board these vessels. And tips can range from $1,000 up to 6,000 US or euro per crew member per charter. So you can earn quite a lot of cash flow when it comes to working on a private/charter vessel. So there's a statistics of super yachts being built and sold around the world. And today they estimate of new builds being launched is about 7,500 super yachts. They estimate of crew required for these yachts range from 5 crew up to 90 crew. So over 22,000 crew are going to be required over the next 2 years for new builds or any yachts that are being sold and moved on. So that's not just the yachts that are around still cruising. So there is right now an enormous shortage of crew. We need to get more of you new crew into the industry, train you and get you on board these vessels so we can work your way up the ranks to make not only more money, but travel to more places, be able to get bigger tickets. And then if you decide to come home, you're coming home back to Australia with experience. So I'm going to do a little video soon, but I'm just going to put that on the screen. I'd like everyone, if they can, to unmute. And if there's any questions, please ask. It's your time to ask me questions, guys.
Okay, so I had a question.
Yep. Who am I speaking with?
It's Ashley.
Hello, Ashley.
Yeah, so it was about concerning the color blindness.
Yes. I remember you contacted me about that.
Yes.
So when you're working as a deckhand, you are going to be asked to do night watches, day watches. The disadvantage you have being colorblind, Ashley, is that as you work your way up from deckhand to bosun, you won't be able to do watches at night, and that can reduce your employment opportunities.
Yeah.
If you went the steward route on the other side, instead of going deck steward, you'd be fine. Or the engineering side, you would be fine. But if you're planning to work your way up the ranks from deckhand, first mate, or captain, it can be harder for you to secure jobs.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now, yeah,
the medical test that we have to pass.
You will need to go through AMSA, and the medical test that you will pass as a seafarer's medical, which is with AMSA. They will probably say definitely you're colorblind and you can't do watches.
Yeah.
But if you're a steward, they would put color blindness, but that you could do a watch with someone through the day, but probably not in the evening.
Okay.
So, Karina, I don't know if you can hear me.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Karina here has worked in the yachting industry with me in the yachting industry for some time, but we've known each other quite a bit. Karina, if you want to pike up a bit too with some of the questions that are going to be asked, more than happy for you to.
Sure.
Is there anything that you want me to, you could say to Ashley that I may have missed?
No, I think to be fair, it definitely depends which sort of path you decide to go down. But I know that there's been a few crew that I've worked with in the past that have been colorblind, and I think it depends on how far you want to advance your career as to where it may limit you. Look, at the moment or in the next, foreseeable future, I can't see it being an issue.
No.
But yeah, I mean, definitely for certain qualifications and certificates, it will come into a factor, unfortunately.
Yeah. I guess it depends as well, the size of the boat I can work on, depending on how many staff will be able to do the night watches that I can't and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Look, the night watches as well. Generally, you've got more than one crew on a night watch. So you may be just a watch keeper. So you may be plotting on the chart, checking the temperature and all sorts of other bits and pieces, but not necessarily the one in charge on duty. So you don't necessarily have to be in charge of knowing your port and starboard lights. So, I mean, it's beneficial, of course, and you will need to know at night underway when you've got vessels right in front of you. But if you're not the officer in charge on duty that night and you're just the second in charge, then yeah, look, there's ways around it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as Joy
Definitely
mentioned,
is.
if you want to come up to sort of a first officer position or a captain's position, that's when,
It gets tricky. You won't be able to.
No, that's fair. For now, I'm looking at stewarding anyway, so it's.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I can't see it being an issue.
No, and Ashley, if you want to, you could do the steward deck just to get familiar with what happens on deck, and you could still assist with things through the day. It's up to you.
Exactly.
Having those extra skills. Has anyone else got any questions? Don't be afraid. Time to speak up, guys.
No question is a silly question, especially when you're starting in the industry.
Correct.
Trust me.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask, because you're new to this, and obviously I'm going to teach it in the training, but if you really want to, when you're investing a lot of money, I'm here to help you. I'm not going to here to force you into a course. I'm here to help you feel happy to join our training and to join this industry.
Well, I have a second one.
Love it, Ashley.
How much is the price for the STWC 95?
Okay, the Snakes and Ladders, STCW 95, I call it, Snakes and Ladders. It is approximately about $2,700.
And how long is it valid for?
It's valid for 5 years. Okay. And then you would need to do a refresher on your, it's the firefighting and the PST, which is like your occupational health and safety at sea, your life rafts.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's pretty much, and that'll be all round. You might, if you're going to do the training in the Sunshine Coast through a company called Barry Barnes Maritime Training, I think he charges a little bit, about $500 less than the Marine College here in Cairns.
Okay.
The only good thing, if you do the training with us, the Crew Pacific Stewards training, the STC follows straight after that. So you're getting fully trained and qualified in 2 or 3 weeks. But it really comes down to what you want to do.
Joy?
Yes.
Yeah, Scott here, Millie's dad.
Hello, Scott. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Hello, Millie. I know Millie's there too.
She's in there. Just a question. What's safety like for crew placement?
So, okay. And
As far as
I'm glad you asked that. Look, I thoroughly make sure that the captain and crew are vetted as much as the crew that I put on board the boats. The fact I've been in this industry for so long, I know good and bad. So I know the bad boats out there and I don't touch them, and I know the good ones. And I will not put Millie or any person onto a yacht that is going to be unsafe. I can reassure you on that one.
Yeah, I could imagine it'd get quite daunting for young kids to go overseas and jump on a boat and be quite isolated. So
it can be, and that's something we do cover in the course, you know, how to deal with that. And I know Millie's young, so I'm not going to put her on as much as Millie might want to go overseas. I'd rather put her somewhere here in Australia on a super yacht and work with a captain and crew that I know very well, that are going to train her, make her feel safe, and she's going to learn the right way. So, you know, I've been doing this for a very long time, and don't worry, Scott, I do know some pretty bad boats, and they're blacklisted on my. I
was just curious. You know, like obviously you got a lot of experience. So how do you deal with those situations in a bad?
A lot of it is to do with. I mean, over the years, I've been spending a lot of time with boats and making sure that they're right. I have had incidents where crew haven't felt uncomfortable, maybe bullied a little bit on board a boat. And that's when I sort of step up and step in. When I place somebody on a boat, Scott, I don't just go, see you, Millie, thanks very much for your kind donation. I do actually get in contact and see how Millie's going and if she's happy working in the environment that she's in. But I also make contact with the client as well, with the customer. The yacht owner or captain, to see that Millie's fitting in well and everyone is happy. And then if there is issues that Millie's not happy, then I spend a lot of time chatting with her and trying to find out what's going on. I've been very lucky and very fortunate that I deal with a lot of good yachts and good crew.
Yep, great.
And great owners, very, very good owners, very respectful owners.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's in good hands, Scott. Millie, I've seen that.
Not only for Millie, but for crew in general. I mean, it'd be quite isolating.
It can be, and it cannot. I mean, I go through my experiences that I've had on board, and I do explain. You know, I've had a couple of bad situations on board, not enough to scare anyone. It's just personality clashes, not being able to deal with the right people. And I explain that in the course and how to handle it and what they need to do and the procedures and steps they need to take to be able to get back ashore safe and work through it.
Scott, if I may, and Joy, I think on any vessel, for any crew member, whether you're a new crew member or a senior crew member or anything like that, you are isolated on a boat. However, as any life situation, whether you're on a boat or whether you're on land, if something doesn't feel right or if you're not happy with something, you need to talk to somebody about it. You need to go to your senior crew members. If they're not responding, go to somebody else and get the issue resolved. So, you know, Joy does work with a lot of reputable vessels and captains and owners, but yeah, as a crew member, whether you're new or at whatever stage in your career, if something's not right, you talk to somebody about it. You don't just push it down and hope that it'll go away. Make sure you raise the issue and get it resolved. Otherwise, then it can actually evolve into something a little bit bigger than maybe initially, or something that could have been easily fixed, I guess.
Yeah. You good there, Scott?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
great. Thanks.
No, that's okay.
I'd imagine the captain would want to nip any of that in the bud anyway.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nobody
they
likes
do-
unhappy crew.
Yeah, they need.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of support through the captain, the chief stew, and pursers with the bigger boats. There's a lot of stuff they work with these days now to make sure all crew are happy, and if there's any issues, to discuss it. They do a lot of crew meetings. There's a lot of that happening, and I'm probably not your normal crewing agent. I spend a lot of time making sure that they're okay when they're starting out as well. Very much on their case to see how they are. I generally found no news is good news, but obviously I still keep in touch. And the same with the clients to make sure that they are happy families. And what I try and do, Scott, is the best thing is to gel the crew with the right boat. It's not just putting someone on that boat and they don't fit.
Yeah.
And I do that with all. It's very important for the crew, for my reputation too, but for the crew and for the owner and the captain to be happy with those crew, and the crew to be happy with the little family they're joining.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you.
No, that's all right. Is there any other questions anyone would ask? I know there's a lot of people on there.
I have a question. Oh,
Yes, Alex. Fantastic.
sorry. I was just asking regarding the resumes that we make and we bring to the course.
Okay. So I
So,
would have sent you the format, resume format, which is also in the
Module 1.
in the manual in the module 1.
Yeah.
What you need to do is follow that format, and then you would email your CV to me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So once you follow everything, what you can't work on or put in place on your CV, you can send me an email and ask me questions, but don't go, don't get so overwhelmed with it that you want to make it so perfect,
Yeah.
because you don't need to. You just do what you can, and then you send it to me, and then I will email back what you need to elaborate and what you need to do to improve it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. And it's just, so I sent you an email. It was just the multiple choice and the resume, and then the interview
Those interviewing questions. Yeah. Yeah.
And with the interview questions, so are we answering the interview
Those-
questions
yeah.
for module 1? Okay.
Yeah. But you're answering those questions from module 1. I think there should be a training. Did you print out the training instruction to follow for the theory training instructions?
The itinerary?
So you would see, I think it was in the first email,
Yeah.
there would have been some theory training instructions to follow. Print that out and it'll go through bit by bit with you what to do.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a lot clearer. So
Yeah.
try and print that out. If not, just save everything that I sent you into a folder on your computer and then try and pull it up and read through it bit by bit. Yeah, you'll be good.
All right. And do we have to like all of the theory? So like I've read it all, but do we have to like memorize anything?
No, you don't,
Okay.
because we'll be
That's
going
nothing.
through it in the training.
Okay.
It's just making sure that you're reading it and understanding everything before you come to do the practical training.
All right. Thank you.
That's good. Anyone else?
I've just got one question about tickets.
Yeah,
All my current tickets are from the UK. Are they still all right over
you're
here?
going to be all right for international yachts, Jay. Private Australian flag vessels that are private, you'll be all right for them. It was just if they're commercial. If it's an international yacht that's like Cayman Island flagged, offshore and things like that, you will be fine with those, even though you're here in Australia. But when do you go back to England?
At the moment, I'm going back to the Meds in April.
Okay, that's good. Well, I'll still keep in touch with you for work as well.
Okay, thank you. And with discharge books over here, it's all right if I've got a Cayman Island discharge book.
Yes, that's fine. Definitely, especially for the international yachts as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
No, that's all good. You're on the right track there. So there's a couple other people. Carol, is it Carolina? Caroline? What about Luke? Luke, do you
Sorry,
want to
it's Caroline. I just had a bit of trouble unmuting myself there. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. I was starting to think, oh my God, am I losing the plot? Any questions that you want to ask? Please don't be shy.
I do have one with the STCW. So there's two different ones. There's the AMSA and the other one.
Your AMSA is recognised here in Australia.
Yeah.
On Australian flag vessels and commercial, but as well as recognised on offshore vessels.
Yeah. So does it just make more sense to do
the Australian
because it covers like everything if you're looking to do international or if you want the opportunity to do it here?
When you're starting out, you should be doing the AMSA STC and then you'd go for an AMSA Seafarers Medical.
Okay.
And that allows you both those qualifications along with any training you do with us is going to be recognised here on Australian flag vessels as well as overseas vessels.
Yeah.
Okay. That means that you can work here on international vessels as well as Australian flagged, and you can go over to the Med, which I know you're planning to do, and be able to work over there with those qualifications as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're increasing your employment opportunity immensely doing that.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about Schengen visas and everything. We do cover that in the training, but Aussies and Kiwis don't really need a Schengen visa because you're going to be travelling in and out of Europe. And once you get onto a super yacht in Europe, you're under the flag of the super yacht. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering. So you sort of get stamped out? Is that how it works? So it doesn't really count?
So you'll go in to places and you can spend 3 months on south of France and then you'd have to leave and go to Spain. But once you're on a luxury super yacht that is offshore, you're under the offshore flag working for that owner and they will cruise wherever and it's them that organises everything for your travels.
Okay, yeah.
Karina, have you got anything you want to say with that?
No, that's pretty much it, Joy. Yeah. So once you're employed on a vessel, without getting too technical, so the flag state of a vessel has their own rules and regulations. Once you're employed under that flag state, and the vessel is cruising in and out of countries, the country looks at that flag state, and there's only certain visas that international crew may need. So South Africans, for example, they do need other visas sometimes on vessels. But if you've got an Australian passport or New Zealand passport, you're pretty much on a winning ticket and you don't have to worry about visas. So
cool.
Not to worry.
No, you've got nothing to worry. The only thing is the B1 and B2 visa, and that is something I cover in the course. I don't go into depth too much here because I might be arrested. I actually teach you how to get your B1 and B2 visa without the letter of employment.
So that's the USA, right?
Yeah, and I encourage people, whether they're going to the Med for the Med season, to try and look at getting their B1 and B2 visa so that you've got all your ducks in a row, because at the end of the Med season, 99% of the yachts will go to Florida or Fort Lauderdale for a boat show and then head off to the Caribbean, especially if they're charter.
Yeah.
And they'll do refits. And people make the mistake and go, I'm only going to the Med. You are, but at the end of the season, the boat leaves and goes to the States, and you could lose your job at the end of the season if they haven't got time to help you with the visa.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it also makes you more employable when you're applying for jobs here in Australia, because boats will fly you crew from this side of the world over to Europe and the States. If you tick all the boxes, you have your ducks in a row with your STC, steward deck training, plus your B1 and B2 visa, plus your medicals, great CV, which I help you with. you're all going to then get employed onto the other side of the world.
Yeah. Just as like an indication, sort of time-wise, to get everything sorted, like do your STCW, do your training course, get all your visas and your tickets all ready. Like how
quick can you get employed? Within a month,
like
3 months.
what's sort of the timeline?
Pretty much within 1 to 3 months. Once you're fully qualified. The only reason I say 1 to 3 is it comes down to you and what the boat's plans are and how soon they need you and how soon you can be available and if you suit what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay. More chance if you get all your tickets now, and then if you decided to jump on a plane to Europe and go to the Europe season, you'll probably be in a job within 2 to 3 weeks because of the qualifications and what you have in place.
Yeah.
You're very much job ready.
Mm-hmm.
Super yacht job ready, as I say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
That's all right. You're getting there, Caroline. I know you've been in touch with me a bit, and
I've just been getting everything organised, just thinking about it.
Be honest with you, you'll be amazed doing the course because a lot of information you can't really find properly online.
Yeah.
And on the internet.
Yeah.
Where these are real facts as a recruitment agent and as a trainer as well.
Yeah.
So, and my point is that there's no point me training people with the wrong information because I need you to have all the right qualifications and everything ticked in place to get you on these boats straight away.
Yeah.
You know, and if I wasn't training and providing the right information, the yachts wouldn't use my services.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's really important. The advantage you have when you do a course with Crew Pacific is that I get to know you. I get to try and place you on a vessel that suits your personality, your skills, but also with knowing you and getting to know what your personality is like, it makes it easier for me to place you on a yacht because that chief steward or that captain is going to ask me, have you trained this person? Do you know this person? And I can say, look, I trained them for 8 days. This is how their attitude was. They turned up on time. They did their test. They, dressed them, presented themselves well. There's all these factors that I write. I write an assessment sheet on you, all of you that do a course with me. Our teachers will write an assessment sheet. You won't get to see that, guys. That is handed out to the captains or to crewing agents that contact us for referee checks to help you get on board a super yacht. So if it was a really bad assessment, I'd be pulling you into my office and we'd be having a very stern chat. So we actually make sure that you tick all the boxes for yachting, but also when we match you with the boat, it makes it easier for you when you have an interview. Does that help?
Yeah, no, that's really good. Thanks, Joy.
That's all right. That's okay. When are you looking, Caroline, to heading over?
I'm not 100% sure at this stage. I'd like to be over there at least by maybe May.
Yeah, that's still good. Good enough.
Yeah, because I've still got to get everything organised and I'm still working here and, I've got to sort out my life. So,
you don't want to leave, like we will go through the seasons, where to find work and the crewing agents as well and the ones I want you to register with overseas. Because even though you're doing a course with me, I'm giving you a listing of the recommended agencies to register with, and I'll take you through how to register with them properly and going in there ready to get a job, basically. As much as I train you and want to place you, you need to increase your employment opportunities. I will get you down the track once you've got experience. I'll dangle the carrot down the track. It's at the end of the day, I want you trained properly and get you on a very good vessel that we can get you back here on a vessel overseas or work your way where I can place you as a second stew or eventually a chief stew.
Yeah.
Okay. So to start off with, you all got to invest a bit of money in your training to be able to get these jobs. And once you've got your first job and you're in, you won't look back. I can tell you that much. And not only that, once you're in a job and you're off, I'm still going to be there supporting you and dangling the carrot every 1 or 2 years on bigger jobs and better opportunities where you might not like me because you might say, Joy, you make it hard. And you're sending good jobs to me. So, you know, it's all there. We're there for the support. It's not just training you now. I'm here for the long haul. Any questions, Jake?
I've just got one more about tickets. Are there any other tickets that you would recommend getting before heading back over?
I'd like to see if you can come to Cairns or we do a one-on-one chat over Zoom and you pay a little fee to me and we get you with a B1 and B2 visa.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. I've applied for a B1, B2 in the past and it fell through because I left the yacht that I was on. Will that be a problem? No, it shouldn't be. Not the way I'll teach you how to do it and say it. It won't be. You'll get one. Yeah, and the fact that you've got an Australian passport too helps, Jay. Yeah. So a rough idea of the way through, but yeah. So what I'll do, Jake, is if you can call me tomorrow or let me know in an email when's a good time to call you. Yep. And we will chat and work out the logistics for you to be able to learn about this B1 and B2 visa. That'd be awesome. Thank you. Okay. No, because I'd like to see you get it before you go. Yeah. Definitely. Because you're in Melbourne, aren't you? Yeah, I'm down in Melbourne. Okay. Well, I'd rather do a Zoom lesson with you if I can. And the reason being, and I'll send the details to you in an email and we can do a Zoom, is that you can actually get your B1 and B2 in Melbourne. There's no point in you flying to Cairns to learn it when I can do it over the Zoom. Perfect. Thank you for that. Okay, so we'll work all that out for you tomorrow. Awesome. Anyone else there wants to ask some questions? This is your chance, guys.
Joy, it's Claudia here.
Ah, hello, Claudia.
Hi. Just on the medical that you need, are there lots of, I know this is probably something you'll cover in the course, but is it easy to get the medical? Like, is there many doctors that
No, you just do an AMSA medical. It's very easy. Takes a day. Less than, well, not even a day. You book it. They'll do it. The first time they do a medical, an AMSA medical with you, they'll do x-ray checks on your chest that you haven't got asthma or anything like that, diabetes, epilepsy. They'll check that you don't do drugs and things like that. So it's just making sure that you're healthy, and your medicals are valid for 2 years. So even if you go overseas and you work overseas and it runs out after 2 years, you can go and get an ENG1 medical if you know you're going to stay on that boat or stay overseas. If you know you're going to come back to Australia, then, you know, get your AMSA medical so you can still work on chartered vessels as well with your AMSA medical.
Yeah.
But it won't take long. And I will take you through it in the course as well.
Yeah, and where you can do it.
Quite, you know, it's much easier explaining it face to face because I've got my PowerPoint, I've got my whiteboard, and I break everything down, even the same with the qualifications and tickets and everything as well. Yeah. So what course are you looking at doing, Claudia? I think I sent you some details this afternoon.
Yeah, so I am still deciding whether I want to jump into this. So this is kind of like my first kind of touch point to working out whether this is something that I want to go into. So so I'd probably looking at the steward courses.
Yeah.
I guess like with those courses, and I know there's a different length courses and that, and I guess it just
really comes down to your funds and what you feel comfortable doing. With the 8-day stewardess training, it's going to give you the extra qualifications of floristry training, the wine, your coffee training, and cocktail. But the other thing is it's also going to help you with those skills to work your way up to second and chief stew those extra areas there, where if you did a 5-day stew, it's the basic training for a 5-day stew.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you can do extra floristry training and cocktail training down the track if you wanted to, but I find a lot of girls that do the 8-day, they seem to flourish more in a second and chief stew role very quickly. Within a year to 15 months, they're either second or chief stew because of the qualities of and skills they've learnt in the course. That helps the yacht as well.
Yeah, okay.
And just to give you an example, I had a student called Talia, and she did an 8-day stew, and her first boat that she worked on, which was a 60-metre yacht, and she did 2.5 years with, called Rocket. She had a flair with flowers, floristry training. She did with us. She didn't realise she had a flair, and she had a great flair with flowers, and she did the flowers on board 60-metre Rocket. And the owner liked the way she did the flowers, that they put her through a $5,000 advanced floristry course in Canada.
Wow.
So guys, you know, what skills and training you have, if these owners see a quality in you, they will keep you and pay more money to keep you, or put you through extra training courses to keep you as well. So don't think it's just what you have now. It's what they can see in the future that's going to help them on their vessel as well as you. Has anyone got any... Sorry?
Joy, yeah, Joy, Scott here again.
Yep.
Just curious, Millie's doing has done a fair bit of babysitting experience. Do you have much call for, probably not on charter, but private owners that ask for people that with experience
so both
with
charter
young kids?
and private do ask for stews to have some sort of nanning or babysitting background. So if you enjoy being with kids, you probably will need to get a blue card just to be safe. Some of these owners do ask for that, just to make sure that the person is safe that's looking after their children. Even though I did nanning in London and hated it, I actually nannied on yachts as well. So I did it when we did the charter, which was fine because it was only a short 10 days. And so I had a lot to do with kids in my first 3 years of yachting as well. So it's possible to have and good to have. So
yeah.
Everything like that's going to help, definitely. Does anyone else got any further questions? Yay, nay? You've all gone quiet on me. All good?
Joy, it's Claudia again. In terms of the med season that's coming up, what would be the latest that you could be kind of joining cruise for that? Are they expecting like April, May?
Oh, look, you would like to see you get there April, May. The latest you could leave it is probably June, early June, because from June, they're pretty much set up for the season.
Yeah, like the jobs would narrow.
Yeah, they'll be reduced by early June. You'll get dribs and drabs. Yachts will start making their way back from the Caribbean probably in the next, say, around the beginning of March. And it will take them, depending on how big the boat is, it will take them 4 to 6 weeks. So, yeah, there'll be boats that'll come in around May, June. It just depends. But I wouldn't leave it any later than early June.
Yeah, okay.
What do you feel, Karina? Same thing?
Yeah, definitely, Joy. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't disregard, guys. Remember too that as much as the med season's going on, it's busy times for Karina and I being agents, but we also, our South Pacific Asia season is pretty much the same dates as what the European season is. So we're going to have a lot of boats this way, international yachts traveling and looking for crew as well. And that means that the international yachts that are traveling on this side of the world will be doing world cruises. Not just coming, they don't come all the way to this side of the world just to do a 6-month stint and then go all the way back. They're here for at least 2 years, if not 3. So you could join a vessel here and be traveling around the world, back to the other side of the world. So don't disregard here, and there's a lot of big super yachts coming this way. We're probably going to see a good 60 to 70 large super yachts that I know of coming this way. I'm sure there's a hell of a lot more than that, to be honest.
Definitely in the short
We just had a big one coming to the Gold Coast today.
Yeah.
A big Russian Plan B came into the Gold Coast.
It's been in Brisbane. Scott, it's beautiful. Yeah, Plan B's been a very beautiful boat I've been dealing with for many, many, many years, and placing crew on, and have been dealing with it since it's been in the Brisbane shipyard for the last 4 months.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, but it's nice to see it in the Goldie, and the reason why it's there is that the yacht manager's family and him is in the Gold Coast. So it's an easy access.
It's an ugly looking thing.
It's ugly. It's a funny looking thing, isn't it?
It's an ugly boat.
It is very much an ugly boat, but she's got every toy possible on there that you could imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got helicopters, she's got it all. It's a great boat to be on. Funny enough, actually, I trained a Canadian girl, Sarah, in November, and she's actually got work on there now as a stewardess. So she just started last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it happens very quickly, guys. That's the thing. So is there any further questions?
I just had another question.
Yeah.
So regarding like the seasons, like how long do they usually go for?
Mid-season's about, very good question, Millie. Well asked. About 6 to 7 months in the med, can lead to a little bit more. Caribbean season, I think it's close to 4, can get up to 6 months, but mainly 4 months, isn't it? 5? Yeah. Our South Pacific Asian season, pretty much all year round. It just depends on where the boats are.
Yeah. So like I was just thinking, like if I did like a season on a boat like for 6 or 7 months, and then I got off it, and then do I just like try and get on another boat? Like
I help you to get onto another boat, Millie.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, like with your help. But like is there usually like a gap between like being on different boats?
So ideally, if you can, because you're only 18, is see you do a year here on a boat, and then as you get a little bit older, 19, 20, then get you over to doing overseas work as well.
No, yeah, of course. That's the goal.
That's probably the goal more than anything. Just remember the mid-season and the Caribbean season and yachts aren't going to diminish and blow up, and there's not going to be anything left. And this industry is only getting bigger and better, and it's going to be around for many more years to come. So we just got to get you slowly working here in Australia, and then when you go overseas, you'll be ready to join a bigger vessel. But I can also put you on a vessel here too, depending on what the vessel wants and age and everything as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not what you know, it's who you know as well.
Exactly.
And it's also, once you're all set up and done the training with me, Millie, once you've got everything in place, it's how eager you are to walk down the docks to the yacht and introduce yourself. And that will help you get a job or day work as well.
Yeah.
True, Karina?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been
walking down the dock. And cocktail dress last year.
But yeah, look, I think as Joy mentioned, any experience is good experience. And as she said, if Millie 18, is that Joy mentioned? Yeah. So I think having a bit of experience in Australia close to home is definitely beneficial.
That's at the moment. So my experience is basically like just doing day charters.
Yeah.
Just the skipper.
Yeah. Great. That's a great start. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think as sort of Scott's question earlier as well with sort of younger crew going on vessels and international vessels, it is a huge leap for, especially for an 18-year-old or anyone younger. It's massive. But if you're confident that this is a career that you would like to have, if it's a role that you're enjoying, I think too that all the other crew on these vessels, they're away from home as well. So, you know, you really do form a little family. But also remember that there are so many boats out there. There's so many crew out there, and you will find a boat and crew that fits you. So you need to remember that. Make sure that you are happy. If you're not happy or if there's something wrong, it's the same as land life. Just either speak up or make a change. You just have to be true to yourself and remember that.
The boat that Millie's on is going up to Hamilton Island from March to October.
Yeah.
I know the skipper, and he's talking about, he's already said, like, he'd love to have her up there for some of that time. So it's not a big boat. It's only like
I think it's 65 foot.
Okay,
yeah, but that's still good size, and it's a good start. And once you do the training with me, you'll be able to practice the things that you've learnt and the skills that you've learnt on the 65-footer and take it to a whole new level to where you are now and feel more confident.
Millie, my dad had fishing boats. That's how I had my it's a bit different to even being on but I loved being on the water. I really loved it. It was my happy place. And I did study business and had a career before I started in yachting. But look, you know, it started on those fishing boats for me. So look, it's the best way for you to feel, if you love it, if you're really enjoying it and you feel it, you know, this is my happy place on boats on the water, then
100%
ticket.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it, guys. It's a lot of fun. You're not just work either. There's a lot of play, a lot of seeing places. It's not about that. You know, you make good friends along the way. Yachting will take you out of your comfort zone, but it will also challenge you and make you a stronger person.
Absolutely.
You know, I wouldn't change it for the world. If I was young again like you, Millie, I'd be doing it all over again.
I reckon it's a pretty
so many life skills.
Yeah.
You do. You'll learn many life skills and you'll make good friends. You'll meet great people, not just in the crew, but the guests, you know, and I just think you do too. I always explain to people in the course that yachting is great, but you still need to come home and smell the roses as well.
Exactly, yeah.
So you are living the rich man's life, and you can need to come home and buy your own toilet paper again and 2-minute noodles. But at the same time, it's awesome as well.
Yeah.
I think it's an opportunity to, if you're willing to learn, you're in such a close proximity to professionals, so engineers, captains, professionals in their field that have been doing it for many, many years. And if you can learn as much as you can from them, because you're you're almost their family. You're seeing and living and breathing their life every day. The more and more you learn in this short time that you're on these boats, do it, learn it, grab it, and just run with it, because it's such a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And Shani, are you there?
Yes,
Shani?
I am.
Oh, hello. Have you got any questions, darling? You've been sitting there quietly.
I don't think
Mum
so.
and Dad there?
Yeah, they are. They're listening.
Hello.
Hi.
Have they got any questions?
No, Joy, we're good at the moment. Thank you.
That's okay. That's good. I just wanted to make sure if there was or anything you needed to chat about. So has everyone been happy, or they want to ask more, or they are pretty confident with everything?
I wanted to ask one more question. So for the 8-day course,
I
already read like all the uniform and everything, but so do we get like given shirts?
You will need to bring some shorts. I do have some skirts for sale if you want them. You will get a Crew Pacific polo shirt, but it's only used for the excursions, and then you have to provide it back to me. But the rest of the time, if you want to present yourself looking like a yachty, is nice, because we can take photos and have you set up with your photos properly for your CV and everything as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I have my uniform from the boat that I'm working on at the moment. Is that okay to wear?
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, you can use that.
Yeah.
Millie, you sound very excited. You can't wait.
I'm pretty keen.
I love it. Look at Dad. He's like, oh my God. All right, Scott, we'll look after her. You won't look back.
I'll come back.
You'll be the same. You'll be fine, all of you. Claudia, the whole lot of you. You're in good hands. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
And now that Karina's met you, she'll be able to help you out as well when she hears about it.
Send me a message or an email, call anytime. There's no problem at all.
That's right. So I'm going to have to love you and leave you guys, get some dinner. But if any of you have got any questions, don't hesitate to drop me an email and we can go from there.